What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So we're gonna check out the harsh truth about The Rock. This is by none other than Polana, man. It's been a minute since I've actually checked out one of his videos on the channel. I usually just kind of check it out off camera, but I definitely wanted to give this one a look because, I mean, it's safe to say what The Rock has done this past WrestleMania season, it just doesn't make a lick of sense. Him being involved to sell tickets, but ultimately they didn't even need him to be involved to sell tickets because they were already selling a decent amount of tickets when they supposedly asked him, hey, can you be involved to sell more tickets for the Elimination Chamber? And his involvement and where they were trying to take the story only for him to be like, all right, see you guys later. It just didn't make any sense, and in my opinion, it just convoluted things that didn't need to be convoluted. So we're gonna check this out. It should be a very interesting one. Appreciate all the love and support y'all shown on the channel, and let's check this particular video out, man.
I did feel, and I made the call, I don't want to be involved in that. Step back. Let the final boss step back into the shadows. And I called John after Elimination Chamber, spoke to him, called Cody, and I said, I think the final boss's work is done.
Listen up, Dwayne, you bald fraud!
Yep.
You!
Yep.
What was the actual benefit of Cena selling his soul to The Rock?
I'm sorry, I cannot defend that.
This message goes out to The Rock. John Cena can ruin pro wrestling for everybody by being a heel.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to come off in the most ridiculous, most underwhelming, most lame finish for WrestleMania that I've seen since WrestleMania 9.
We wanted to see Dwayne Johnson. We like Dwayne Johnson. We're upset that we didn't see Dwayne Johnson. So the fact that happened is getting it down.
WrestleMania 41 was a complete disaster. John Cena's heel turn has also been a failure, and there's one man responsible for this entire mess, and that man is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
And I will say this, and I think a lot of people have kind of agreed to the sentiments. If they were going to do something that was going to be able to rival what happened last year. I know a lot of people were saying the stakes was too high last year. It was going to be hard for them to top it. I don't even think they necessarily needed to top it. I think they needed something that really was going to shock people. And what would have been the greatest way to shock people is to actually have John turn heel to defeat Cody at WrestleMania. I don't think him turning heel is a bad decision. I think how they executed it looked good on paper, but then when things started to play out and we didn't get no mention or anything extra added to The Rock being involved, you can find holes in why did this need to happen at that point. You know, I think it would have been better if he would have turned heel at WrestleMania 41, bruh. I mean, everybody would have been shocked and it would have worked. So
In today's video, we're going to break down how The Rock ruined WrestleMania 41 through manipulation, broken promises, and flat-out lies. This is the harsh truth about The Rock.
Should The Rock sit at the head of the table?
I remember this.
The Rock turned heel.
And here's the thing about that whole situation. Initially, when he had teased it, like, oh, you know, The Rock maybe should, you know, sit at the head of the table. Initially, a lot of people were excited. But then when they went with the route of Cody winning the Royal Rumble back-to-back years, it was kind of obvious that, all right, well, they may do something. Maybe The Rock is the reason why Cody ends up winning this year. Like, something, right? But then he basically tried to take Cody's spot, and I was just like, all right. I was still thinking, well, maybe there's something else going on here. And then you realize, no, Cody essentially gave up his Royal Rumble win, and then they had to pivot because fans were like, wait a minute, that don't even make sense. Why would you do that? And then they turned him heel, which worked. Everything that he was trying to do, they pivoted, and it worked even better than anyone else had expected. And now the stakes have been raised for Cody even more. So it was one of those things where, yeah, it was a blessing and a curse at the same time. But it ultimately ended up working out to benefit damn near everybody.
And a new feud with Cody Rhodes. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in the Hell in a Cell match.
So good.
Was originally set to main event Bad Blood, and the fans were hyped. This was the hottest storyline of the summer. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre put everything into the
so
feud
good
to get the fans invested, and it deserved to close out the show. But just like Cody Rhodes before them, their spotlight was stolen, and this time the fans weren't able to help because The Rock came back and took the main event for himself. Using his backstage influence, The Rock reshaped the show. Suddenly, the main event was no longer the Hell in a Cell. It was the tag team match with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns teaming up to take on the Bloodline. That match was very disappointing and forgettable. But then came the post-match segment. The Rock would make his return again, and this time it was to confront Cody Rhodes and maybe Roman Reigns. We don't know. And then he gave us a countdown, and the pay-per-view faded to black. Many fans gave this moment the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this was building up to something bigger. Maybe The Rock had a long-term story in mind, and that was the only reason people were willing to...
I mean, people were speculating. I mean, I was speculating. What does that mean? What does the 3 mean? What, like, what was going on? What is he saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, people were, all right, okay, we're excited because we don't know what's going to happen here, but, things are about to, hit it off. And if you guys remember from that show, the fans were recording Solo and I believe Jacob, and Solo was like, this is part of the plan. They purposely said that because they knew people were recording, but nothing came from it. So I was like, Solo did say this is part of the plan. What's going on here?
To accept the fact that he buried the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk match. But no, there was no plan. Reports later confirmed that The Rock's surprise return was never intended to lead to anything, and if you didn't believe those reports, just look at what happened when Raw made its debut on Netflix.
Yeah.
The Rock opened the show and the fans were buzzing because surely this was it. He would challenge Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania, or maybe he'd officially announce his retirement match with Roman Reigns at that Mania.
Yeah.
But none of that happened. Instead, he came out, he thanked Netflix, and then he dropped the final boss persona entirely, and it was just Dwayne Johnson talking about business deals. And just like that, the most compelling story the WWE had spent an entire year building, which was The Rock and Cody, was flushed down the drain. There was bruh. That's a WrestleMania match. The Rock versus Cody. And then the story you could tell with Roman feeling some, bro, they had it. They fucking had it. What the fuck? No payoff, we got nothing. This return meant nothing. And in the process, The Rock didn't just ruin Punk and Drew's Hell in a Cell main event, but he also derailed Cody's WrestleMania plans, which meant Triple H had to pivot again, and he needed to find a new opponent for Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania.
My perspective is I've always done what's best for business. What is best for business is I main event WrestleMania. And what is best for business is, for the first time, I confidently say that I'm going to win a 17th championship.
And here's the thing. Right here is the perfect Because I remember people saying that was really weird that John would say it like that after the Royal Rumble. What's best for business is me winning the 17-time world championship, being a 17-time world champion. That, if they just went with this, didn't go with The Rock trying to turn him heel at Elimination Chamber or anything like that, they just go with this. And all you do is just plant seeds along the way. You can have him win the Elimination Chamber and just keep planting seeds. You can have the Elimination Chamber play the same way. You can have Seth Rollins screw over CM Punk, and then you can have John Cena capitalize. Because, I mean, he says this is what's best for business. He starts winning in ways and starts doing things and saying things that's like, that's not typical John. And all you do is just keep planting seeds, teasing it, the back and forth. I know some people were like, all that buildup was going to be trash. We don't know that. We don't know that, but it would have been something that fans could just kind of fill out. Pay attention to what John is saying and how he's saying it. And then, you know, obviously, you could have Cody get a little bit more irritated, maybe get a little bit overconfident, starts talking his trash. John starts talking his trash. They're still, quote unquote, baby faces, but things are starting to get personal because it's about the championship. It's about the WWE championship. And once again, have John Cena start just planting the mental seeds of a heel turn. People are not thinking it's really going to happen, but there's some that start to speculate, wait a minute. And then you could have dropped the biggest bombshell in WrestleMania history and have this guy cheat. The crowd would have lost it and have him win that way. Cody would have been blindsided. No need for Travis Scott. Even if the match wouldn't have been a classic because of John's in-ring ability, those last 5, maybe 10 to 15 minutes or whatever would have been memorable because people would have been like, holy shit, he turned heel. Granted, people would have cheered, but it still would have been a moment that everyone would have remembered.
Something's weird about this.
Yep. Iconic, still iconic heel turn. Shout out to Weezy.
Oh my God!
Yep.
He kicks him!
Yep.
Cena kicks Cody!
We got a John Cena heel turn finally!
Yep.
Just let him talk about it. Please! No! 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 What are you doing, John?
Just iconic, bro. Iconic.
Look at those reactions. It's clear that John Cena's heel turn was a once-in-a-generation moment, but it was all ruined because The Rock forced Triple H to move it from the original plan of WrestleMania to the Chamber just so he could be a part of it. And his excuse was that WWE needed to sell more tickets for the Chamber pay-per-view, but the show was already 95% sold out by that point. At first, I didn't mind. A faction with John Cena and The Rock, now that could have changed WWE forever. But
Facts.
that's not what we got. Instead, it was just another ego trip for Dwayne. He wanted to attach himself to the biggest story, even though he never had plans to actually be a part of it. That's why John Cena and Cody never mentioned him, and that's why we didn't see him again. That's also why the build was so awkward.
Yeah.
Because John Cena was never supposed to turn heel yet. If The Rock was never going to stick around, then Cena's heel turn should have happened at
WrestleMania.
That moment belonged there.
Yeah.
The Rock stripped us of what could have been the greatest WrestleMania moment of all time.
Bro, it would have been one of those things where people would have been like, bro, WrestleMania 40, the ending was fucking cinematic. WrestleMania 41, bruh, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about if they just would have waited and had him turn heel then, bro. People would have looked at WrestleMania 41, night 2, as the superior night outside of the main event for night 1. People would have gave WrestleMania 41, at least night 2, a huge thumbs up. Let's be honest. Because the main event let down a lot of people. You have him turn heel, still have him win. Yes, the crowd would have been shocked. Yes, a lot of people would have cheered. But it would have worked. It would have worked and it would have been legendary. And then you could have people... You know, he can have him go in on these rants and talking about the crowds and, have his explanation. It would have been fucking crazy.
To make things even worse, he didn't even show up at Mania. And when it all fell apart, he did what he always does, which is Damage Control.
Control.
Meanwhile, Triple H was left trying to brace fans for the disaster that we got. The harsh truth is that we can't keep doing this. Something's got to change because this is not working. The Rock ruined John Cena's heel.
Which makes even more sense why Triple H was talking about, hey, just fans, just sit there and watch. Just turn your head off, turn your brain off, and just let us do the storytelling. Think about that. That entire week, that's all he was really talking about. And even I had to disagree. I'm like, nah, the fans have the right to at least address their opinions if the product they feel like is not good or it doesn't make sense. Now it starts to make sense why he was even doing that, because it's kind of like he knew y'all not going to like how this ends. Jeez, bro.
He ruined WrestleMania 41, and he's going to keep ruining WWE's future unless he makes a choice. You're either 100% committed or
you're not.
You're out.
Should The Rock sit at the head of the table? The Rock's got your attention now, doesn't he? You pieces of
This is so good, bro.
Cody is screwed. He has done an amazing job. Cody Rhodes, thank you, brother.
Internet's not real life, right? And the complaining that is on it, it's not real life.
I don't want that.
I want your soul.
And I said, I think the final boss's work is done.
Hey, Rock, go yourself.
Yeah. Hey, this was great, bro. Like how he set this up. I'm going to go ahead and give this a like right now. And y'all should as well. Go check out Polana's channel as well. He has some great wrestling related videos. Like I said, I do check it out off camera a lot of times. But this was great. This was fantastic. And this, once again, just, kind of proves the point that we've been starting to see with WWE. And that is The Rock's involvement has done more harm as of late than good. And honestly, he shouldn't really be that involved anymore if he can't commit. There's no point in being involved to convolute stories that they have already tried to build and set up only for you to insert yourself and then disappear. Or maybe not agree with how the booking is going, so you just disappear anyway. What's the point? You ruin the story. We know you're a draw. We know who you are. I'm not trying to rhyme, but I think the best thing you could do is let Triple H, let the writers that are there week in, week out, let them tell the stories. WWE is still hot right now. They're selling like hotcakes. People are spending $40,000+ to go to fucking SummerSlam. I think they're okay for now. Let them create. Let them make these moments for the fans. If you can contribute something that makes sense and doesn't convolute things, cool. But if you're not gonna be a part of it, don't waste everybody's time, man. But comment down below. Let me know some other wrestling related videos y'all want me to check out. I definitely will. I appreciate all love, support. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking with me. See y'all next one. Peace.